I got a question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and Terence Crawford look?
Damn.
147. Shit, if I
147.
tap that chin, you know he going to sleep.
I already know. I
We
already know
he
he
ain't
is.
got no chin.
I already know he is.
He said no chance.
The rivalry between Gervonta, Tank Davis and Terence Crawford continues to dominate boxing headlines. For years, the two have debated who could knock out whom, but the feud recently shifted to personal matters like earnings and physical appearances. After Tank made things personal, it was only a matter of time before Crawford and his fans responded. The tension reached a boiling point when Tank suggested a potential fight, prompting Crawford to deliver a blunt message. Crawford took to X, formerly Twitter, warning Tank, "Stop being scared and fight Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis before talking about someone at a level you'll never reach." The words landed like a knockout punch, escalating the heated exchanges between two of boxing's biggest names. Crawford's challenge is personal, as Stevenson and Davis are more than just fellow fighters.
To fry, grow some balls and fight your core, Keyshawn, and stop being scared. That's probably why you ran your girl over and beat her ass, because you know you ain't got no nuts, my people. You know? And then right there, Gervonta pretty much insinuated, if I was to fight Crawford, I'll make him look little. Then they both said, yeah, I want dudes to see me and try something. That would be his last going for greatness. And then Terence said, go for it then. You feel me?
Both are close friends of Crawford, with Davis even being his protege under their shared trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre. However, critics argue that Keyshawn Davis has yet to prove himself on the big stage. His performances against Miguel Madueño and Nahir Albright were underwhelming, leaving fans questioning his potential. Adding to the controversy, Davis's reluctance to face Cuban sensation Andy Cruz, who previously outclassed him, has not gone unnoticed. Fans believe Cruz represents a true test for Davis, making his avoidance of the matchup a talking point. As the war of words continues, the boxing world remains divided, eagerly anticipating whether this rivalry will culminate in the ring or remain a battle of egos outside it.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that's moving up 2 weight classes and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him to come and touch it.
Wow.
The tension between Gervonta Tank Davis and Terence Crawford continues to grow, fueled by personal jabs and professional challenges. Crawford recently suggested Tank should focus on fighters like Keyshawn Davis and Shakur Stevenson, rather than invoking his name. While Crawford's remarks hold some controversial truth, fans are divided, with some believing Tank could hold his own, or even beat Crawford in a potential matchup. Tank, however, has no interest in fighting Keyshawn Davis or Stevenson. Tank's reputation as a box office superstar makes him selective about opponents, and he sees little value in giving Keyshawn the spotlight. Keyshawn, despite his potential, lacks the fan base and marketability Tank values in a rival. As for Stevenson, while technically brilliant, his defensive style has earned him a boring label among some critics. Even Eddie Hearn, who signed Stevenson to build him into a global star, faces challenges marketing him in the US. Tank views a fight with Stevenson as not worth the risk or effort, especially when the promotional burden would fall entirely on him. Crawford, undeterred, escalated the feud with a now-deleted scathing tweet. In it, he mocked Tank's character and delved into personal matters, adding more fuel to an already fiery rivalry. The feud between Gervonta, Tank Davis and Terence Crawford has hit an all-time low, with personal attacks taking center stage. In a now-deleted tweet, Crawford mocked Tank, writing, "That's probably why you ran your girl over and beat her ass, because you don't get no nuts, and she knows it," ending the message with a laughing emoji. Boxing rivalries are nothing new, but this one has gone beyond the usual jabs at careers and fighting styles. When personal lives and family are dragged into the mix, it signals just how intense the animosity has become. Crawford's attacks aren't just aimed at Tank's professional decisions, they cut to his pride. Tank didn't take the insult quietly. This comes after he accused Crawford of chasing paydays instead of true greatness.
You got guys who are really, really, really good, and they're not really hell-bent on becoming a star. I put you in that category. I put Terence in that category. Maybe Shakur, where they feel like they don't really want to, like, Terence ain't bothered about going to premieres. And
Tank believes Crawford's call-out of Canelo Alvarez for a Saudi Arabia fight is more about money than legacy, further fueling their fiery back and forth. Gervonta Tank Davis has accused Terence Crawford of prioritizing money over legacy, calling out his motives for pursuing a fight with Canelo Alvarez in Saudi Arabia. "Y'all really think he's chasing greatness?" Tank posted on X. "He's not. That's what he has to do to make decent money." Tank backed his claim by pointing to Crawford's reported pay-per-view numbers, with his fight against David Avanesian generating a modest 75,000 to 100,000 buys, a stark contrast to Tank's blockbuster figures. Crawford, however, sees things differently. He insists that moving up 2 weight classes to face the unified super middleweight champion is about securing his place in boxing history, describing the move as a pursuit of legacy. Tank remains skeptical, arguing that skipping the 168-pound division entirely signals desperation rather than ambition. Fans are split on the issue. Some applaud Crawford's boldness, while others...
How you feel about that fight? Is it even possible at a catch weight?
There ain't no catch weight. You come up to 47.
Not even entertaining a catch weight.
No, I'm not.
He's a champ though too, undefeated.
And what champ? Come on, man, tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here where the big boys at.
All right.
I'll welcome.
Agree with Tank, believing the Canelo fight is more about cash than glory. With Gervonta Tank Davis at 135 pounds, many believe a fight against Terence Crawford at 147 or beyond would be a mismatch. Tank's supporters see his confidence as unwavering, but critics argue he underestimates just how dominant Crawford is at higher weights. While Crawford may not command the pay-per-view numbers Tank does, his accomplishments in the ring are undeniable. This raises a critical question. Should legacy outweigh popularity in boxing? Tank, on the other hand, is no stranger to controversy. Critics accuse him of cherry-picking opponents and avoiding the toughest challenges in his division, including Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. Crawford's claims that Tank is scared resonate with those who feel Davis has yet to...
How do you not lead with ego? Like if you hear somebody like Tank say, 147, I knock Bud out.
Well, he just talking. Mm-hmm. You know, he got the confidence in himself that he believed that he can do that because he's been knocking all these fighters out that he's been in the ring with. You know, so no knock to Tank, but there's definitely levels. You know,
truly test himself against the best. However, Tank's supporters counter that he doesn't need to prove anything. His record, knockout power, and ability to sell out arenas speak for themselves. Crawford has ended 31 of his 41 bouts inside the distance, while Tank boasts 28 knockouts in 30 fights. If these two wrecking balls of boxing ever collided, it would be chaos in the ring, chaos where legends are forged. Crawford's calculated dismantling of opponents contrasts sharply with Tank's explosive, out-of-nowhere power, yet both men share a common trait. When they smell blood.
I mean, if he want to retire with the career that he got, then go ahead and do whatever you got to do. So I disagree with it. I think it's soft, but that's on him.
The fight is as good as over. Brian Norman Jr., who has sparred with Crawford, summed it up best. He described how a younger version of himself learned a painful lesson in maturity from Crawford. According to Norman, Crawford doesn't rely on single fight-ending shots, but instead employs a relentless, systematic style that breaks his opponents down, showing the true brilliance behind his dominance. Terence Crawford's systematic dissection of opponents has been likened to a slow death by 1,000 pinpoint punches. He doesn't necessarily one-shot people, but he just beats you up, and then he kills you, said Brian Norman Jr., who has sparred with Crawford. On the flip side, Norman reserved his highest praise for Gervonta Tank Davis's raw, unfiltered power. As far as one shot, who got it? I got to give that to Tank. Crawford's brilliance lies in his adaptability, effortlessly switching stances and exploiting weaknesses in real time. While Tank's boxing IQ is often overlooked, his ring smarts are undeniable.
He's gone hunting in the most treacherous of waters and comes out not just unscathed, but utterly dominant. Davis, on the other hand, has feasted on names like
in an instant, while Crawford is the ultimate puppeteer, systematically dismantling opponents until they unwittingly assist in their own defeat. When Roy Jones Jr. weighed in on the hypothetical matchup, he acknowledged Davis's explosiveness. That's the one thing Tank has that Errol Spence didn't. In boxing, an explosive fighter can go a lot of places, Jones noted. His words carry weight, as Spence, an elite technician, couldn't handle Crawford's suffocating pressure and constant adjustments. But Davis, cut from a different cloth, is a predator who can change a fight with a single, soul-snatching punch. Critics point to Davis's level of competition compared to Crawford's. Crawford has faced and defeated elite fighters like Errol Spence Jr., Sean Porter, and Kell Brook, cementing his legacy against top-tier opponents. Davis's raw power and star appeal make the hypothetical matchup intriguing, but Crawford's proven adaptability adds a layer of complexity.